My goal for today's video is that you'll be so inspired that after watching, you'll turn off your device, grab some paper or your sketchbook, and create something that's special and inspiring to you. Why? Well, because today we are doing lettering in our sketchbooks to kick off the new year. When I was reflecting about the end of the year and trying to set my goals for this year, I was writing down and saving lots of phrases that inspire me. And I thought, why would I keep these all in a notebook where I can make them pretty in my sketchbook? And if I like it, I can display all of this art in my space or in my home as gentle reminders of where I want to be this year. And also, thankfully, this video today is sponsored by Skillshare. And I say thankfully because I didn't really know where to start with the lettering, but they have so many classes on it that it really helped me pull all of my ideas together. And I'll explain more on that later, but for now, let's grab our sketchbooks and get creative. So these are the phrases I chose of all I saved to work with today. I don't think I'll do all of them, but these are the ones I wanted to do the most. And because of the lessons I took on Skillshare, I have been sketching some ideas. Now, the sketchbook I'll be using today is my square sketchbook because I really feel like using acrylic markers, and I love how acrylic markers go on this paper. I've been using it for spreads only, but that's okay. We're gonna change things up a little bit and use one side. Now, something I really want to try is save time while painting my background, and let me show you how I plan on doing this. I am taking a little bit of paint out and I'm very loosely painting a border around the page. Now I'm going to take more paint, apply it at the top, and with a wedge, I'm going to pull it down. See, I really like that effect. I'm still practicing on how to do it, but I think it's a nice one. It dries fast and it just gives you a nice background. I think I overdid it though. I liked it a little bit more when it was a little bit more see-through, but it's good enough. So now to help it dry, and because I said I want to work with my acrylic markers, I'm going to cover the entire background with a layer of clear gesso. I thought of this on a past video and it's great. Works super well, and then the markers just slide on top without picking up the pigment from the background. I started using my favorite acrylic markers and I'm pulling my sleeves back because acrylic paint and long sleeves is not a great combo. The first quote I chose is, "Let joy be your guide." And I'm going to start by drawing a heart in the middle of the page. I'm trying a folk-inspired style for this one, and I'm going to try to keep things symmetrical like I learned in a past video from another Skillshare class actually. What I learned in the class I joined to prepare for this video is that you need to give hierarchy to the words, meaning you need to make some more important than others. So for this page, I'm going to take the word joy and make it the biggest, and I'm going to put it in the middle of the heart. Once I wrote the word, I decided to fill the rest of the heart, or the negative space, with little doodles of flowers, hearts, and dots. And as I do this, let me tell you a little bit more about Skillshare. Skillshare is an online platform that has creative classes taught by world-class creatives like Chris, the illustrator that taught the lettering class that I joined and loved. Honestly, his teaching style to me was everything, and that got me so excited to work on the pages today. If you're looking to reconnect with your creativity and you don't know where to start, Skillshare has classes on so many subjects, from art to photography to content creation even. You can work on your time, and I'm sure you'll find the class you've been looking for. So you can join Skillshare because today the first 500 people to use my link in the description or scan this QR code in the screen will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So check it out. Oh, and I forgot to tell you that before making my pencil lines darker, I tested to see if I could erase the pencil guidelines from on top of the clear gesso if I had drawn with acrylic marker next to it, and it worked perfectly. And now it was time to add all of the other words from my quote. And I chose to have let be on top of the heart, like if it were the crown of a sacred heart, and then have the rest of the quote underneath. To try to center my phrase, I started writing letters on either side, and then I was going to fit the rest of the letters in the middle, But as you can see, I did a very poor job at this. It wasn't centered at all. Even the first letters I wrote were off, and it looks a little bit wonky, to be honest. It actually looks very handmade, and I decided that could be charming, even though it has nothing to do with the beautiful result of the class I joined. It's okay, I am learning, and I just wanted to have this illustrated in a way that meant something to me. And also, when you write things down, when you work with them, a lot of it permeates better to your brain. So there. With all of the words on, it was time to add decoration. Like I said, I wanted a symmetrical composition with little adornments here and there. Then I thought the two top corners were looking so empty. My original idea for the heart was to be the main event, so I did not want to add any other major elements to this. But it was way too empty, so I thought I would draw a couple of birds. As the birds dry, I added more flourishes around the page, and then I added some details on top of them with a white marker, and they looked so weird. They looked more like tadpoles than birds. So I painted over that and gave it a second try by drawing a different type of wing, and that looked better. So that was the end of this first page. I like how the first quote looked, but I wasn't really crazy about the background. So for the next page, I decided I would not hand draw the outside, but use tape as a guideline so that I would get crisp, clean edges. I again put some paint on the top border and used the wedge to pull it down. And again, here I think I should have left it alone on that first pull when it was still see-through. I think it looked better. I'm not sure because, of course, I kept fidgeting with it until I had a darker background. I removed the tape and I had some leaks in the corners where the paint went beyond the tape, but I thought it's okay. I'll just cover everything with gesso and then cover that with white paint. While the gesso dried, I was playing around with my chosen quote to see the type of letters, font, or script that I liked more. And the quote that I chose for this second page was, "Don't be afraid to be seen trying." I was done trying different ways to write the quote. I now had a visitor almost on top of my sketchbook, and the gesso had still not dried, so I helped it a bit with a heat gun. With the paper ready, I used a pencil to mark out the area where the text will be. I tried to center it again, but I think my eyeballing failed me. Again. Close enough, I thought, and then with a fine point marker, I wrote the phrase straight on the background without trying it with the pencil first. Then I drew a large heart around the quote, and I started to fill it with smaller, colorful hearts everywhere. I don't know why on this page the brush nib markers that I like most were not coming out as opaque. It was evident I was going to need more than one layer of paint with them, so I tried with the double-sided bullet ones that I had pulled out to use the fine tip, and those worked perfectly. First layer, and it was super opaque, and the colors were bright and saturated. So I switched to that set for this page. I kept choosing different colors since I wanted to keep the page really bright and cheerful. Then, when the hearts seemed full enough, I started to add details on top of the hearts and in between them. I thought I would add leaves and little flowers, but I really didn't like it. So I just kept playing with it, adding things, trying to figure out what I did like. And yeah, definitely not working. But since I'm using acrylic markers, those are usually very easy fixes. You just paint on top of it and go again. I did just that, waited for them to dry, and I covered the floral elements. Then kept playing, and I decided the only thing I would have in the empty spaces would be tiny little hearts. But now looking at the footage, I think I should have not added anything and made it simpler with just large, solid, colorful hearts and black negative space. And here, as I struggle to create something aesthetically pleasing, this phrase feels perfect. I'm here and I'm sharing with you how I try. It's not coming like I envisioned, but of course I can always try again. So I finished adding details, and this is the result. I do like it. I'm not crazy about it. Let's move to the next one. This time I thought I would slow down, take a few steps back, and follow the actual steps from the class, where you actually draw guidelines on your page to get the letters where you want them. So I drew a square in the middle of the page, and then I rapidly scribbled on top of the whole page with a pencil. Not thinking much, just continuous lines. When that was done, I taped the border on the square, so I would tape it off. And I added some extra pencil lines to create more interest on the frame space that I now had. I taped the side so I wouldn't go over to the other side of the spread, and using a Payne's gray marker, I traced the pencil lines. I did allow myself some creative freedom when tracing these because I wanted to improve on the shape a little bit. Once the lines were traced and I erased the pencil from underneath, I started to do one of my favorite things. If you know me, this is my favorite. I started to round out all of the intersections. This is so satisfying to do. I can't get enough of it. And I think in an exercise like this one, it's not necessarily connected to neurological art. I'm just utilizing a part of the process, but it's still very relaxing and it gives you this little beautiful, pleasant, creative moment. Then I simply started filling up all of the resulting spaces with color. I limited my color palette to green and teal. I wanted something very harmonious, and to achieve that, it is always easy to just use an analog color palette, which means that the colors are next to each other on the color wheel. I used the different shades of markers I had available between the two sets I had out, and towards the end, I thought I would add a pop of color by filling some of the cells with purple. I pulled the tape off, and it's time to draw some more guidelines so I can write the quote in the middle of the square this time, and it hopefully will be centered and balanced. I chose the phrase, "Making bad art is better than making no art." Again, this speaks loudly to me, not only because of imposter syndrome, but also because making art, following the creative or crafty processes, really gives us so much back. It makes you feel so good. So even a simple doodle like this, even something that you end up not liking, your soul will get the benefits from that. I love words like this that remind me that making art truly has so many benefits that just going through the process makes it worth it. Sometimes I feel we can get discouraged, or actually, I can get discouraged about something we are working on because I think I won't be able to create what I imagine. But I think the truth is, we should go ahead and try anyhow, because even the moments of frustration will be less harming than not listening to our soul and its need to create. And here on this page, it was definitely worth it for me to learn from my mistakes and take time to draw a few guidelines, because after tracing the letters with a marker and erasing the pencil guides, I really love how this one turned out, right? For the other side, I decided to use tape again to create a border. I did make a tiny thumbnail sketch for this one so I had more direction. First, I drew a cloud and then a circle kind of in the middle. My first circle was too small, so I used the compass to try to make it larger, and after a few tries, I got the circle to the size and the position where I liked it. Oh, and I forgot to mention the quote for this page is "Enjoy the now." I love this phrase. I think it really connects me with being in the present moment, and I think it's something that we tend to forget, or actually, it's something I tend to forget, to stop projecting into the future and focusing so much on what's going to happen or what I hope to accomplish. I feel I focus too much on my to-do list, on my anxiety, nerves, whatever. And this helps me to really focus on now, on what I have now, what I have today, because what I have now, what now is really great. Like, as I record this, I'm finally feeling well. I have no flu. I'm healthy. I have you to share my process with. My family is all okay. We have food in our fridge. We have friends to love. So many things. And yes, of course, I have dreams and quote unquote better stuff that I want to have. But honestly, what I have now is so beautiful too. So yeah, this quote, it helps me to breathe easier. And it really helps me to focus on this moment right now. And that does wonders for my anxiety. But back to the representation of it, I started to paint the background with purple, and it was so streaky at first. I immediately knew this was going to need several layers to look okay. In between painting the layers of purple, I decided I would paint the O, which is supposed to be like the sun, with yellow. Then I thought I would slightly trace the letters with the gray marker so I wouldn't lose the position I landed on after using all of my guidelines when I painted the cloud. After tracing the letters, erasing the pencil lines, and yeah, adding more purple paint to that background, I removed the tape and it was time to color the cloud. Before starting, I thought I would try to see if leaving a gap between the pink and the purple would look okay. So I tried that because, of course, if I didn't like it, I could just go all the way to the edge. I did like it, so I carried on coloring the cloud, and I don't know why all of a sudden this marker felt so dry. Maybe I was running out of ink. In any case, I knew I was gonna have to go over it so many times with a lot of patience. So I did that off camera, and once everything was dry, I finished writing the quote and made the letters N and W thicker like I had originally planned. Then I added lines to the sun as rays and added a little bit of a drop shadow to the cloud with darker pink. The O was looking a little bit plain to me, so I added an extra dark yellow circle in the middle, and this is how this page turned out, and I really like it. For the next quote, instead of working on my sketchbook, I thought I would work on loose paper and make a little piece to put in this frame. This is a frame that I now have behind me. I put it there after decluttering and rearranging my art space. For this one, I did follow a lot of the class advice and I sketched and planned my design digitally on my iPad on Procreate first. Also for this one, I am drawing a bunch of guidelines for things to look better, hopefully. I really want to center the text this time. And the quote I chose is create it first, make it better later. Again, this is an idea I feel is good for me to keep close and in my mind. I tend to stop myself from doing things because I want them to be perfect on the first try. I have to admit that. I forget that repetition and practice are actually the things that have gotten me here. I forget that anything that I've made that I absolutely love has been a result of a lot of trial and error. Like, even if a piece flows and it comes out on the first try and I love it and I don't change anything about it, it is because so many other pieces have given me battles and so many others have been, well, I guess I'll just paint over this experiences. YouTube has actually helped me deal with this a little bit because it was something I had no experience in at all. And it has really taught me the only way to get better at YouTube is to make videos, one after another. To film your first video, which will probably be bad, and if it's not bad, believe me, that is the second channel that creator has started. That's not their first video, or they have hired a team with experience. The first video I made was bad. I haven't really watched it again entirely, but just the first frame makes me cringe because I wasn't well framed. But at the same time, I have so much gratitude for past me because she decided to be brave enough to record herself on her phone and share it with the world, even if it was not perfect. So I want to remember that for my art practice. I want to remember that as I keep making videos. I want to remember that as I try to reach my goals and as I try to become a full-time YouTuber. After I was done creating the sign with pencil and all of my guidelines and all of my letters, I wanted to trace all of the letters that I wanted to have in dark gray first. And then for the rest, I lightly erased them before going on top of them with colorful markers. Now, honestly, why did I do this way this time? Like, why did I paint the letters first and left the background white? I honestly don't know because I had a proven method on my other attempts when I painted the background first. So why? Why did I decide to go rogue? I honestly can't tell you. Also, I can't explain why I thought using an acrylic marker to paint the background was going to be painful and time consuming and I wasn't going to be able to go around the letters, so I decided to use an alcohol marker instead. Honestly, I did not expect for the alcohol marker to pick up some of the ink of the acrylic markers and stain the background. Also, I did not expect to have such a blotchy, uneven result because I was using a piece of paper from an actual alcohol marker pad. I honestly don't understand if it was the paper or maybe my ink was running low or maybe my wrist was getting tired. I don't know, but the result was awful and I didn't like it. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to start over. I'm going to grab another piece of the alcohol paper and I'm going to paint another background first and then I'll do the lettering on top with acrylic markers. But again, my background was uneven and I didn't like it and I got a little bit frustrated that I had to start again. But then I remember the process I've been following for all of the other pages until now, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna just use the same piece of paper and I'm just gonna take some paint and the wedge and do the background by sliding paint down. So I did that, and the good news was it worked and it didn't really cover all of the lettering. It was a little bit see-through enough that I didn't have to draw all of the guidelines again, and I could just trace everything back with acrylic markers. Yay! Once I was done tracing everything, I wanted to have a little something something in the middle, so I drew a little heart with some flourishing. Then marked the area of the paper that I needed to cut, put it behind the mat that came with the frame, secured that with a little piece of tape. That's it. Here's how this quote looks in the frame on the shelf. And now I don't like the color scheme I chose. I don't like it. So I guess I'll probably change this quote or the color sooner than later. Or maybe I'll just do another version of the Let Joy Be Your Guide. I like that composition, even though it was a little loop-sided. Well, anyhow, that's it for today. These are all the pages we created. Thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. If you would want to try Skillshare, don't forget I left you a link in the description. Or if you want to keep watching my content, YouTube thinks you'll like this video next. I hope to see you on the next one. Have the most wonderful day. Bye.